Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3's post-credit scenes explained. Welcome back to Nerdist News. I'm Dan Casey, and today we're flying away together into the forever and beautiful sky by breaking down Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3's post-credit scenes. The finale of James Gunn's heartfelt trilogy about a bunch of a-holes is finally out in theaters, and while I loved this emotionally charged threequel, make sure you check out Michael Walsh's full review over on Nerdist. Today, though, we're going to be looking to the future to analyze the deeper meaning behind the film's two post-credit scenes. Now, if you want to read all about it, Eric Diaz and Michael Walsh have you covered over on Nerdist.com. But to talk about all of this in detail, we do need to spoil what happens in the movie. So if you're worried about spoilers, think fast before it's too late. Okay, let's get into it, shall we? After a literal face-off with the High Evolutionary, the Guardians of the Galaxy return to nowhere for some decompression and a dance party with far lower stakes than their cinematic debut.
What are you doing?
With Peter Quill leaving the Guardians to go spend some quality time with his grandfather on Earth, Mantis taking her newfound Obelisk pals to figure out who she really is, and Gamora returning to rejoin the Ravagers, the Guardians takes on a very different shape. Although this version of Gamora was never technically a Guardian, if we're being pedantic.
Don't touch me!
But the group fractures even further with those who choose to remain on Nowhere. Nebula leaves the group to lead the now bustling colony of Nowhere, and Drax the Destroyer's taking on the role he was born to play, Drax the Dad. Having unanimously been named the new leader of the Guardians, Rocket is finally officially in the position of leadership he always felt that he occupied.
Well, that's what you get when Quill flies.
Thankfully, though, this is not the end of the Guardians of the Galaxy, but rather it's a new iteration for this team. We see a flash forward of the team's new lineup, which includes Rocket Raccoon, Groot, Kraglin, Adam Warlock, Phyla-Vell, Cosmo the Space Dog, and Adam's strange alien pet, Blurp. They're off on a non-Dune desert planet preparing to defend the terrified locals from a stampede of alien monsters charging towards them after Rocket selects the perfect soundtrack, Red Bones Come and Get Your Love, which featured prominently in Guardians Volume 1. Groot's appearance is now much beefier than we've ever seen before, and that includes his kaiju form from Counter-Earth. Here, Groot bears a much more striking resemblance to his original appearance in the pages of 1960's Tales to Astonish number 13. Having mastered the Haka arrow that Yondu bequeathed to him, Kraglin's also much more confident in his skills. And now that she knows she is a very good dog, Cosmo's ready to bring the full might of her telekinesis to bear on any and all comers. As for the group's relative newcomers, they actually were both very important members in the group's comic book history. Adam Warlock proved to be essential in helping to stop Ultron and the Phalanx, as well as the Universal Church of Truth, who recently played a prominent role in the excellent Guardians of the Galaxy video game. Although, with all the multiversal mayhem unfolding this phase, I would love to see his evil future alter ego, Magus, rear his ugly head at some point down the line, especially if Magus also has an evil pet version of Blurp as well. As for the other new member, she's only referred to as Phyla, but this powerful child rescued from the High Evolutionary ship is actually Phyla-Vell, a major character from the comics. First appearing in 2003's Captain Marvel number 16, Phyla-Vell is the daughter of Mar-Vell, the original Captain Marvel, in a strange roundabout way. After Mar-Vell died of cancer, his lover, the Eternal Elysius, took some of his genetic material and impregnated herself. She gave birth to Genis-Vell, who, like his father, went on to take the mantle of Captain Marvel in between Monica Rambeau and Carol Danvers. Unfortunately, Genis-Vell wound up going a wee bit insane as a result of his overwhelming cosmic awareness. He created a brand new universe, and in this new world, Elysius made another child from Mar-Vell's DNA, Phyla-Vell. She is also gifted with a host of superhuman abilities, including super strength, speed, flight, and the ability to absorb energy that she can release as bursts of power. Phyla-Vell also went on to briefly become the fourth Captain Marvel, but once her brother regained his sanity, she wound up relinquishing that title. Phyla went on to join the Guardians of the Galaxy during the events of Annihilation. That comic book story saw Annihilus, the Lord of the Negative Zone, spreading a deadly energy wave across the universe. And when the Earth-born hero Quasar lost his quantum bands during the chaos that ensued, he also lost his status as a protector of the universe. But after recovering the quantum bands from Annihilus, Phyla wound up becoming the new Quasar instead. She would later give up that title and die in battle, then be reborn as a hero named Martyr, but I know it's a lot. If you want to delve deeper into her history, check out Eric Diaz's deep dive over on Nerdist. Besides, her origins in the MCU are vastly different as one of the test subjects in the High Evolutionary's lab. Now, as for whether old Herbert used some of Marvel's DNA to genetically modify Phyla, that remains to be seen. But for now, she doesn't need to worry because she has a newfound family to help her kick ass and take names. And while there isn't an explicit subtitle reading the Guardians of the Galaxy will return, it's heavily implied that if and when there is another Guardians movie, this will be the new lineup to take us into that next generation of cosmic comic action. As for who will definitely make a comeback, the legendary Star-Lord.
Who?
That's right, Peter Quill makes his way back to Earth to pay a visit to his grandfather, Jason Quill, played once again by Greg Henry. We last saw Grandpa Quill in Volume 2 when he nearly died as Ego's expansion started to spread across the Earth, but ultimately he was saved thanks to his grandson and his friends halfway across the galaxy.
Mantis, look out!
The post-credit scene is an emotional one, with Grandpa Quill immediately recognizing his long-lost grandson. After that, we see them having breakfast together at the kitchen table. And in the newspaper, you can see a front-page story about Kevin Bacon being abducted by aliens.
You're coming with us as a Christmas present.
This is a reference to the events of the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which is pretty adorable if you haven't seen it. Now, the full scene is pretty blissfully mundane as Grandpa Quill tells Peter about his issues with a lazy neighbor that won't mow their lawn. After all these spacefaring and universe-threatening adventures Peter's been on for the last 30 years, it's gotta be nice to experience a modicum of normalcy for a change. But inevitably, Peter's thirst for adventure will return and need to be quenched once more. And as the scene cuts to black, text appears on the screen saying, "The legendary Star-Lord will return." And that confirms the MCU isn't about to lose yet another Chris.
Me. Right.
So what does all of this mean for the future of the Guardians of the Galaxy? Well, the Guardians as we knew them are no more. But given their immense popularity and the fact that the Earth, the galaxy, and the multiverse are all pretty constantly under attack from one evildoer or another, they will inevitably return somewhere down the line. For the time being, though, it seems like everybody's just kicking back, relaxing, and enjoying some well-deserved time off. At least until Secret Wars turns everything upside down. Anyway, folks, there you have it. That's everything you need to know about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3's post-credit scenes. We'll have plenty of other deep dives into this movie in the days ahead over on Nerdist, but for now, tell us, what did you think of this movie? What do you want to see from the future of the Guardians of the Galaxy? Let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, make sure you stay tuned to Nerdist.com.